Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Muppet. My sound is unimaginably loud for some reason, so let's turn that down a bit. And yes, welcome back to another Daily Masters cast. In typical Harry Muppet fashion, I am casting it. It's about 5 hours before I need to upload it, and I've only got 1 megabit upload, so it's kind of like whatever. You guys won't know, but yeah, my casting schedule is quite horrible, so I've really got to get back into it. I used to cast like 5 videos in one day, and then I'd be just like, just sit back and do nothing for the next week. But I find it a little bit harder than I used to just cast 5 games in a row. So it's kind of been all over the place. But anyway, let's introduce the players. It is going to be INnoVation down at the bottom side of the map. He is, of course, we know who INnoVation is. He is one of the best players out there. He is from South Korea, he plays for Team Acer, and number 2 in the WCS with 6.1k points, 6,100, so extremely impressive, and he's also known as Bogus, apparently, which is just an interesting bit of information. I'm pulling off the Team Liquid Liquipedia page, so yeah, he's going to be down there, and on the other side of the map we do have Bbyong. He is from South Korea as well. This is actually from Season 2 Korean Premier League, I think. So there's Mr. Bbyong. He is, yes, from South Korea. He plays for the CJ Enters team. Number 75 on the WCS with 600 points. So definitely getting out there and doing some stuff, man. So, I mean, you think, 600 points compared to 6,000 points, that's nothing, man. That's nothing, but it's not nothing, man. I mean, just to get into any event which doles out WCS points and actually get into a position where you're winning some, that's hard, man. That's very, very hard. So anybody who's got any WCS points is an absolute pro, is absolute legend, and it's the very, very few right up the top with the insane amount of points who really are the best in the world. So we're going to be seeing how one of the best in the world faces off against another absolute pro in this game. And I know what you're all thinking. Yeah, actually, I don't know what you're all thinking. I had something going there, but I kind of screwed it up. So let's just move on and concentrate on the game before I embarrass myself even further. Mr. Yong going for a early reactor on his barracks. Now, we have seen this and a number of occasions. Rather than going for multiple barracks, players will go for the reactor to get out early Marines. And the reason they go for the reactor instead of going for a second barracks is because they eventually want to transition the factory onto this reactor. Now, you might be thinking, well, why is he getting the reactor so early then? Because that early 50 gas which he spends allows him to double produce Marines until the factory is ready. So without getting a second barracks, you can produce a ton of Marines off your first barracks. The only downside is you need to build the reactor ASAP. So he built 2 Marines and then he went in and got the reactor. So it's kind of a timing thing. And for a small period, you're not producing Marines, so that kind of slows down your Marine production. But as soon as the reactor's up, you make up for it instantly. And he's going to have a ton of Marines out there, and he's going to have a reactor for when his factory comes out. So really, really great play. And we can see here, INnoVation, on the other hand, has chosen to build the reactor to line up with the barracks. He does not have a second barracks as of yet. So if we have a look at the units here, Mr. Yong has currently 2 more Marines than Mr. INnoVation. And that is the trade-off. But of course, he would have had to get the gas a little bit earlier to make that happen. And obviously, there's some sort of trade-off for that, but I just do not know. He's actually only on 1 gas at the moment, but he is building a starport, so definitely he's got a decent amount of gas, actually. Mr. INnoVation's currently on 2 gas, though, so he's got to be thinking about putting a lot more. And there we go, there's the armory coming out as well, so Hellbat drops, a definite possibility from INnoVation in this game. And we're actually seeing the Marines moving out with the Hellions, so he's not looking to do a little bit of pressure, he's looking to do a lot of pressure. But INnoVation, this is why he is the master right here. 2 Widow Mines already out on the front map, protecting his expansion. Mr. Yong had some idea they were out there. He must have had some idea because he's trying to moving his Hellion out to try and sneak a hit off those Widow Mines. Did not quite work, but the Widow Mine's actually being jumped into here and the Hellion Widow Mines going away to the main base. And the bunker should be able to protect it now, although there is a gap, and if Mr. Yong comes in, he will be able to knock out these Marines before the bunker gets up, but his window is slowly stretching away. He's a bit indecisive. There we go. The medevac going to be dropping up the top, dropping down a lot of guys, but they're running straight into a bunch of Hellbats, and if the Hellbats turn around, these forces are going to be in a lot of trouble, but he's moving up the Hellions as well. Meanwhile, 2 Hellions and 2 Widow Mines coming up there, being linked down. The Hellions, taking a lot of damage, but the Hellbats, the Hellions down here, looks like they eventually will get taken out. Most of the Marines going down to it looks like those Hellbats, but the Hellions managing to survive, doing a fairly decent job at trying to take out workers, but Hellions versus Hellbats, not a great job, and Hellbat drops on top of Hellions, not a great job either. So it definitely looks like Mr. Yong came out not as good as he possibly could in that. We do not have the units lost tactic up to scratch, but we do have a look at the workers, and then this guy has 3 kills though. I think probably a ton of them were probably Marines, but still, I mean, I feel like, yeah, he's just lost quite a bit. Units lost are about even, but you know what? I feel like a lot of that was Marines. Well, a lot of that was Marines for Mr. Yong as well, so probably evened up. I feel like Mr. INnoVation may have got a couple more kills here. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. And really, really hitting those workers hard right there. So, Mr. INnoVation doing a really, really great job keeping the worker numbers down. Doing a great job at doing the drops. This one going around the wide side. We'll see if Bbyong can. Oh, I think he just missed it on the vision there. But we do actually have a supply depot on the top side here, and the Viking must have seen it, so there we go. He's going to be boosting in. He can probably drop off his load before he gets shot down, but 2 Hellions is not going to be enough to scare these guys away. They are a hell of a lot slower than the SCVs though, so not going to be able to chase them down anytime soon. And Mr. Yong going for a ton of Hellions actually. They're doing a pretty good job here. INnoVation actually having to resort to a couple of SCVs to defend himself, but the Hellbats are down here now. And so many workers actually going down, man. So Mr. Yong continuing to go for just straight up Hellions in the face of a lot of Hellbat adversity. They're actually a bit of missed micro there. The Hellbat's walking straight past those Hellions and not hitting them. But here we go. The Vikings actually lost quite a lot of health. I'm not sure why. Must have been a Widow Mine hit at some point. But both players doing a great job at just doing a ton of damage. And Bbyong, while his Hellions are doing a fantastic job at harassing the opponent's base, they're not very good at the Hellbat attack. And I feel like, man, get a tech lab, get some Marauders out, because right now you are getting owned so badly by these Hellbats. Manages to take them out eventually, but the income, I don't know, man. Oh, these are actually INnoVation's Vikings. That is why that Viking went down, man. INnoVation's Vikings coming out, and of course neither player has many Marines going on, so these Vikings are going to be pretty much undefended. And Viking Hellbat seems to be doing pretty good, man. The Hellbat's of course way better than the Hellions in terms of aggression. So one-on-one, I mean, they cost the same to build, but the Hellbat's definitely doing a lot more damage to the Hellions than the Hellions were doing back to them. And half of Mr. Yong's Hellions, man, I feel like he was just throwing them against the Hellbats to try and kill them. And in the end, I mean, he did a great job at harassing these workers, but in the end, he just couldn't get out enough Hellions to deal with the Hellbats, and he had to concede. So there we go. There's the GG there from Bbyong, and yeah, that was a pretty awesome game. So stay tuned tomorrow. I'm going to be checking out another one. This has been Hairy Muppet. I hope you enjoyed this game. Stay tuned.